I'm going to tell you the 6 things I wish I knew in my first startup business. Stay tuned. Six things in no particular order are passion. We all start our businesses with passion and excitement. It starts to get strained when lawyers and consultants suddenly appear to guide you through the next steps. My current new company in the energy field quickly became much more complicated when my new compliance officer told me we needed to incorporate our intellectual property as an incorporation in the Caribbean. What? Whew. Why does running a startup have to be this complicated? Of course things need to be complex in order to protect shares, intellectual property, and investors. So you need to be prepared for change and be able to adapt to it quickly. Once the train ride begins, as usual, little can stop it. When we get weighed down with stuff, we sometimes forget why we started the fledgling startup business in the first place. There are 2 things to say about that. Have fun and enjoy the ride. Number 2, cash flow. One of the biggest issues with entrepreneurs is how to deal with money. Most manage money poorly. Be sensible. Get an accountant rather than managing it yourself, and have a look at your books often so you know the state of your business. The most serious cause of startup failure is money oriented. It's either misspent or there's not enough. A startup should have the scalability factor built in so that it can grow as revenues come in. This allows you to bootstrap rather than dilute your company with investors. Number 3, good people, your employees. My friend has a great secretary. She has been with him through thick and thin and is indispensable. He chose wisely. Hiring staff is not rocket science, but it can be difficult. I suggest a 2 to 3 person team to do interviews to get different viewpoints, which will keep bad hires down. I know it always seems easy to hire your best friends and family to round out your startup, but this can be, and usually is, a critical mistake. Employees need to be vetted for their abilities, not their relationship to you. Once you start courting investors, you will soon find that if they are not impressed with your executives, you will lose any funding opportunity. Bad hires need to be disposed of quickly. There are no second chances in a startup. Partners. Startups may need partners for a couple of reasons. Firstly, to fulfill a weakness you have that they can mitigate, and secondly, bringing a source of capital to the startup. The latter can be a boon to your startup, but it can be your downfall. Bringing in a partner might be a good choice if, for example, you can't sell for beans, but your partner is exceptional. However, it will be less costly if you just hire a salesperson. I had a client who had a partner. They attended meetings together, ran the business well together, but rarely socialized. It worked for them to keep business separate from their personal lives. Unfortunately, most partners are bound at the hip and fall into the issues most relationships have, namely staleness, overexposure, arguments, and more. It sounds like a marriage, and it is of sorts, so it must be nurtured like any relationship. 5, SWOT analysis. I'll get to that. A client opened a restaurant without looking at the neighborhood, his competition, and the market. He got into trouble almost immediately, and by the time he came to me for help, the business was too far gone for anything to help. Know your SWOT, namely your strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. Always figure out how to mitigate your weaknesses and threats, and always have a plan B and C. Number 6. Responsibility does not mean micromanaging. Let's be honest, not many entrepreneurs are great managers of people. I know this by the incredible number of micromanaging business owners I run into daily, who think they're the only person in the company who knows how it should be done. Give your employees a chance. Delegate. Make your employees accountable. Accountability will separate the good from the bad, and you might be surprised when they rise to the challenge. Consider getting a coach or mentor on board to help. An alternative to a business coach or mentor is to invest in a board of advisors. I've done this for every enterprise I set up. It's a good way to keep everybody on track. Why didn't somebody tell me this when I started my first startup? Growing a business can be hard work and rewarding, but it also needs to be fun. Planning. A business plan, budget, marketing plan, SWOT will go a long way to making things easier. If I said anything that tweaked your interest and you'd like to see more of this, please subscribe and click that like button down below.